I have the new updated best Fortnite settings to dominate ranked and have the smoothest mechanics with the best aim. So I've always been a controller player, so when I was first switching over to keyboard and mouse, I didn't know what mouse to use. And so I looked at what other people were using for their mouse. And finally I decided to get the Logitech G Pro Super Light. And since I've got it, I've never regretted it. It's the best mouse by far. The reasons it's so good is because it's super light and it's so easy to glide on a mouse pad. Many people also don't know what DPI is or what DPI to use. So basically DPI is basically just another sensitivity for your mouse. In my personal opinion, I think 800 is the best DPI because you don't want to be moving too fast, but you also want to be moving quick enough. So now moving on to my settings. The display settings are pretty simple, but you want to be using full screen, resolution obviously 120, 180, VSync off, frame rate 240 Hertz, but that depends on whatever your monitor can run and how much it can handle. 240 for me. Performance mode really helps the game run better and smoother, so performance mode. Brightness 115, and the rest is pretty much default. I don't use colorblind mode, but my view distance is on far. These are my game settings. My matchmaking regions obviously on auto. For my movement, my toggle sprint is obviously on. Auto open doors is off because if I'm like fighting someone in a building and there's a door right next to me, I don't want to automatically open it. Hold the swap pickup off, toggle targeting off, and mark danger when targeting is on. So basically when I'm aimed in with my gun and I ping something, it marks as a red mark, so that means there's an enemy there. Auto pickup items is on in case I'm dropping on the same chest as somebody and he opens it so I can automatically pick it up. My preferred item slots are obviously on, so basically when I pick up an item it automatically goes to that slot, and these are the ones that match my keybinds the best. The first slot you should be having the assault rifle, second should be shotgun, then SMG, and the fourth and fifth can be like interchangeable, whatever you want. For 4 I have utility, and then 5 I have consumable. Auto sort consumables to the right is on, so basically when I pick up a mini for example, it would go all the way to the right in my inventory instead of going in the first slot that's open. And these are my building settings. For keyboard, reset building choice doesn't really matter. This is a big one that people mess up. Disable pre-edit option. I think you should have it turned on because if you're trying to triple edit for example and you mess up the edit, then you get pre-edits, then it will just mess up everything. Turbo building obviously on. Auto confirm edits I have on both, so I don't have to confirm whether I'm resetting or editing. It just edits on release. Alright, so this is one of the most important things that you need to have, my mouse sensitivity. So basically all these mouse sensitivities are fit to match my 800 DPI on my mouse. So my X and Y are both 7.9, and my targeting sensitivity and my scope sensitivity are both 32.7. Building and editing sensitivity doesn't really matter. You don't have to change that at all because that's just going to be your X and Y sensitivities. And over time of practicing different sensitivities, these are the best ones I've found that match 800 DPI and that allow you to have great aim and great mechanics. Alright, so now moving into the best keybinds you can be using. Alright, so firstly my sprint's on 2. A lot of people have it on like shift or something, but the reason I have it on 2 is because it's right above the W key and I can just click it with my index finger. And my crouch and slide button's on control, and I usually have my pinky on that or shift. The main thing people don't understand is it takes time to get used to these keybinds. So they're not going to be comfortable at first. You just have to get comfortable with them. And that's usually why people end up quitting, because they don't want to put enough time into getting good. So my use is E, and I use that to open chests and pick up things. And I basically click that with my pointer finger, and it's right next to the W key, so it's the easiest thing to click. So my pickaxe is T, and that's also really easy to click because I move my pointer finger off of D and click T. So now these are my weapon slots. My first slot is usually going to be my AR, and all I have to do is click on the mouse button and it pulls out the AR. So weapon slot 2 is my shotgun, and you're going to be using your shotgun the most out of any of these items, so that's why I made it the easiest to get to. And all you have to do is scroll down on your scroll wheel and it pulls out the shotgun. Weapon slot 3 is usually an SMG or a sniper or something. That's caps lock. Alright, now for weapon slot 4. For weapon slot 4, I use X, and press X, I move my pointer finger off of D once again, and usually that's like a sniper or something that I don't have to use that much. And weapon slot 5 is really just interchangeable. I've been changing it a lot, so whatever you're comfortable with, but I have mine at C. Alright, now for the building settings, and these are probably the most important settings that you actually need to know. My wall keybind is Q, and I feel like this is pretty common with a lot of people, but basically I move my index finger off of A and I press Q, and that's how I build my walls. Now this is where the mouse I was talking about earlier really comes into play, because basically on the left side of my mouse I have two side buttons that I'm clicking with my thumb, and that makes it so much easier to build. So basically my floor is my top side button, so all I gotta do is click it with my thumb and then I gotta place it, and my stairs are my back side button, and my cone keybind is pretty common with a lot of people, and that's shift, and I usually click that with my pinky. And the trap bind doesn't really matter that much because you're not really placing traps that much, but it's just V. Now the editing bind is also a really crucial bind that you actually need to know, and my bind is actually pretty common with a lot of people. My bind is F, and I feel like a lot of people use F too. And I also have scroll wheel reset on, so basically I can pop up an example on screen. If I edit, all I have to do is scroll up once on my mouse and it resets the whole build. And I feel like F is one of the easiest binds to click, considering it's right next to D and you click it with your pointer finger. And the rest of these binds are pretty much default binds, but for like pinging I use G because it's pretty easy to click, or for my map I use M, I think that's default, and for my inventory I use tab, and that's also really easy to click. And this is some gameplay with the settings I just showed. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see more videos like this in the future, please let me know in the comments, and also do me a favor and subscribe for more videos like this. And without further ado, Finerx out.
I can't trust little shawty, she a runner. Cut this Cartier like a stunner. That little shawty a hoe, so I can't love her.